Good morning. Welcome back to my kitchen, Cooking with Carol Diane. If you don't know by now, that is me. This morning, I got up and I was just kind of hungry for something sweet, besides Easter candy of little sugary things. I didn't want that. And I don't want to make a great big huge chocolate cake or something. There'll be a day that I will. So today I'm going to do what's called mini butter pound cakes, and I'm going to put them in this pan right here. So that's what we're going to do today. I set out my little stand to show you. I thought this was really cute, this find that I found the other day. The little Pillsbury dough boy I've had ever since I was well into my 20s. I remember getting this years ago. And I always had it in my kitchen, always. It's a little rubbery, like a toy would be, but they came out years ago. He's old. He's shown his wear of many things in my kitchen, from food coloring to all kinds of things, picking him up. But he was always just either in my window sill or sitting someplace on my counter. Every house I've ever lived in, I've had this little Pillsbury doughboy. And the other day when I saw these bookends, I thought they were so appropriate to keep with my little pal here. One of them is mixing something over here, I think chocolate chip cookies, and this is something else in a little measuring bowl. And the little notepad, he's writing down pills to remember to take these pills. But I just thought it was really cute, and so I have it in my kitchen now. This set that I have one cookbook in, I have the KitchenAid cookbook, which I have found several nice recipes in there that I'm going to try that goes along with the KitchenAid mixer. So I wanted to kind of share my Pillsbury dough boy today because he's special to me. He really is. Okay, so let's get started on these little mini buttery, they're butter, pound cakes. And the first thing that you're gonna need is, I like to mix my dry ingredients separate in a bowl. So I got a bowl out, and you're gonna need 3 cups of all-purpose flour, and it needs to be sifted. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that in my sifter, right here, and get that good and sifted. Yeah, it comes down, it's just all nice and sifted. Okay, and then it calls for 1 teaspoon of baking powder, whichever brand that you prefer. I've used this particular baking powder, I think, all my life of cooking. I really have. I've used it a lot. So 1 level off teaspoon of the baking powder. That out of the way. And then it calls for 1 1/4 teaspoons of salt. So we're gonna do 1. And 1/4 teaspoons of salt. That out of the way. And kind of whisk that up a little bit. Get your dry ingredients all whisked together so that that baking powder and the salt really mixes into your flour. I like to do that. Okay? I'm going to set this aside now. Let it rest. And into my mixer today, I am going to put the sugar and the butter mixture, which calls for 2 cups of sugar, 4 large eggs, and butter. A cup of unsalted butter. That's right, a cup of unsalted. So I normally buy salted butter. I really do. I use it for everything. But certain recipes, when you're adding as much salt as that we did to the flour, then you definitely need to slow down on the salt when you're putting in your butter. So 1 full stick. And I like room temperature butter, I really do. So I've had this sitting out. I've had that and my eggs sitting out for a little while on the counter this morning before I even started this project. I have preheated my oven to 350, so it's ready to go, along with my ingredients. So we'll get this all in the mixer, like so. We'll turn the mixer on and get that going to be mixed up, the butter and the sugar. Long time ago, I made some it was a bundt recipe of the mini bundt pan. This one I've had for quite a little while, and it's got 3 different designs to it, which I really like. Spray it very, very well with cooking spray. It doesn't matter which cooking spray that you have. Just make sure that you sprayed it. I did 1 full side, then I turned the pan. I did the other full side so that I made sure each one of those was well sprayed. So you'll want to do that. Turn this up just a little bit. Like I said, rule of thumb, about 5 minutes to do on any butter, sugar, combining it together. But for the filming purposes, we're going to speed it up just a little bit. When you find that it's pretty well incorporated, which right now it is. Okay, so now we're going to add the eggs one at a time in here. And the reason why we don't put it all in all together is you want that butter and sugar to mix well with that egg. Once you see that it has, then add your other egg. Once you can't see the yellow anymore of the egg yolk, then you can add the next egg. And we'll just keep mixing. So again, your first set of ingredients are 3 cups of all-purpose flour that you have sifted, a teaspoon of the baking powder, 1 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Mix that together. Then on the sugar, it is 2 cups of sugar, 1 cup of unsalted butter, room temperature, and 4 large eggs, room temperature. Looks nice, it really does. Now we're going to add 1 tablespoon of vanilla. I am still using this Madagascar vanilla flavoring. It tastes really nice in there today. Really will. There's just something about the smell of this vanilla. It just has an aroma to it that I can't get over. It's pretty special. Okay? And then we're going to use 1 cup of buttermilk. And again, whatever buttermilk that you have, shake it up very, very well. I'm using Metal Gold. I like Metal Gold products, so I'm using that. That in there. Drop dead gorgeous day in Colorado today. It really is. I'll be making these little cakes, and then I'm going to go outside and do a little bit of yard work. There's some weed eating needs to be done. And we're going to get started on that before it gets too out of control. Okay, and now we want to add the flour mixture. Oh, it's a little bit too big for this one. All right, I'll help it along. Just help it along. There we go. Okay. Oh, that's blending nicely. Blending nicely. I have used my other beater blade so that it's nice and airy and fluffy. Yeah, that looks real nice. Real nice in there. Sometimes. Sometimes I can get the ball off and sometimes I can't, especially if my hands are wet, which they are right now. Okay. See, it looks real creamy and nice. That's what we want. And it smells buttery. I can smell the butter and that vanilla in there. It smells real good this morning. Like I said, every now and then I want something that's light. Doesn't take a lot of prep work. This one didn't. Up a little bit, and that's what your batter will look like. It's a firm batter, not runny. And then we're going to take the cake pan here. If it absolutely doesn't come out in this pan, I will be going to a loaf pan, but I think it will. I think we'll be all right. And I'm just going to take a great big tablespoon. I think this is 2 tablespoons in my silverware drawer that matches my silverware, so I'm just going to take that to get it into the pans. And probably 2 of these, because I'm putting it on each side, working it down in to the pan. And I'm just going to take my spoon and kind of smooth it around. So I'm going to say this size, like I said, I think is about 2 tablespoons. So that's what it's going to look like in the pan. You're just going to kind of get it down in there. And like I said, 350 on your oven. Now, if I was doing a regular bundt pan, or even maybe even a loaf-sized pan, you would be cooking this for a good 50 minutes. But I'm not doing that today. I'm using these little mini ones. So I'm going to start them at about 12 minutes, and I'm going to keep my eye on them to see how long they really are. Because I'm altering this recipe by using the mini pans. A regular recipe of using the correct pan of a bundt pan would be 50 minutes. It really would. When I did these mini loaves, I don't remember if I used this particular recipe or not, but I have made these little mini loaves, and they were just enough, you know. It wasn't like getting a whole helping of cake or anything. It was just enough, serving wise, that's all you wanted, like for one person. Let's see, we'll get that down in there a little bit. Sometimes you have to help the batter along, and with this one I'm helping it along. Helping it along. with my little helpers this morning of my Pillsbury Doughboys. I have 3 of them now. They're in my kitchen helping me. I like funny little things like that, I really do. Just kind of perks up my day. Just something simple like that can just highlight your afternoon or day. And when I saw those little bookends, I thought, oh my gosh, wouldn't that be cute to have with my little Pillsbury Doughboy? It really would. Now he has friends in the kitchen. Yeah. Yeah, he has friends. And we all need friends, don't we? All need friends. Okay, so there it is in the pan, ready to go in the oven. If you feel like you want to clean up the sides just a little bit with a wet rag, you certainly can do that. I didn't do too bad about getting it all over the place. I really didn't. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna be right back after I put these in the oven, and like I said, I'm gonna start them at 12 minutes and keep my eye on them, and then I'll be right back with you. See you in a few. I'm back. My little mini cakes are out of the oven, and I went 18 minutes is what I went instead of 12. When it was right at 12, I checked them. They needed just a little bit more, so I did them right at 18 minutes for this particular pan. Whatever pan that you have that you want to use this recipe for, that's great. Like I said, if you just want to put it in a loaf pan, that would be fine too. I just was really after using my little cake pan because it's sat up in the cupboard for years and I haven't used it, so I brought it out today. What I like to do is take a drying rack and I put that over my pan, and then I flipped it like you do a pineapple upside down cake. I just flipped the little cakes over, and then immediately I took the hot pads and I lifted up the hot pan so that they're on the drying rack. They're all cool and dry now. So now it calls for a little glaze to put on it. So what we're going to do on the glaze is, again, we're going to take some unsalted butter, which is 1/2 of a cup of unsalted butter, into the mixer. I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to take 3/4 of a cup of some powdered sugar. 1/4 of a cup. That in there. And then 1/4 of a cup of water, because this is a glaze, not a frosting or icing, it's a glaze. Then I'm going to take some butter flavoring. Add up a little bit more because the butter gets going. I'm just going to add a drop of the butter flavoring. Stop my mixer and kind of take care of the sides here as far as making sure everything is into that butter real nice. Whip it up some more. And I feel that it needs just a little bit more powdered sugar for this glaze. So I'm gonna put it back and add just a little bit more. And sometimes you have to do that. Just because the recipe calls for that doesn't always mean that it's going to actually come out the way you want it to. Let's just add just a little bit more powdered sugar. Looking a little better. So that was a quarter of a cup added extra than what the actual recipe called for, which is all right. That's all right. I said I'm kind of altering this recipe anyway because I'm not putting it in a loaf pan. I'm putting it in these little mini pans, so it's kind of altered it anyway. So what you could do is how they want you to just kind of drizzle this on. So if I was to take this and put it down on here as my glaze. This is the recipe that was in my book, so I don't know. I think I would have done a thinner glaze for this. I really do. I think I would have. Or instead of that, I would take my powdered sugar in a sifter and just put some powdered sugar. I don't care for that glaze, do you? I'm not real thrilled with it. I would just do this on each one. Now the powdered sugar is making it where you can see the design of the little cakes, of what they are. So here they are. One had this design, and one has this design. So there's the little cakes all done. And to top them, because this is a light pound cake, very light in texture, that you can add all kinds of fruit to this. And I probably would take some strawberries maybe and add a strawberry on top of each one, like so. That's kind of festive, isn't it? I'll take one now and tell you how they taste, because I'm all for trying whatever that I bake, cook, prepare. I'm all for trying it to see if I like it. And like I said, this was just a treat today that I'm giving myself before I go out and do a bunch of hard work out in the yard, which may take me all afternoon. I'm not really sure. My little Pillsbury Doughboy was right here in my kitchen helping me. Yes. Yes, this is just what I wanted today. Not heavy at all, very, very light. I would do more of a powdered sugar water drizzle glaze instead of what they had in the book with the butter. I don't really think it's required. If I was to put that on here, I'll tell you what it tastes like. Just so we know. Recipes are trial and error, aren't they? Some of them come out absolute perfect, and then some of them, not so much. Well, it's good either way. It really is. But I think this one was the ticket today. I hope you've enjoyed my little spring butter pound cakes, the little mini ones. And it's from my kitchen to your kitchen, of course. So I'll see you next time with Cooking with Carol Diane. Have a great afternoon. Get out in the sunshine today, because I'm certainly going to. Catch you next time. Bye-bye now.